Oh man, the stupidity just keeps on rising in the whole video game console world. Everybody, and I mean everybody, still believes that Watchdog got delayed because of all the other games. When in reality, I think they were just going to conflict with Assassin's Creed, and they didn't want to have two AAA titles coming out at the same time, so they sacrificed one for the other, and it kind of does make sense. What doesn't make sense is how everyone's like, "Well, we're still getting enough of Grand Theft Auto 5. 5 is going to hurt uh, Watchdog," even though that by the time Watch Dogs actually did come out, if it wasn't delayed, um, there wouldn't have really we wouldn't really have to worry about Grand Theft Auto 5 because we've all played it and done it and gone through the whole game. And the multiplayer is shit. And I'm not saying GTA 5 is a bad game. It's just we've done through it that we would, it would become repetitive by that point. I just think they made room for, their new Assassin's Creed game, and that's the real reason why they did it. I just don't. GTA 5, yeah, yeah, a game from last month, from the previous month, is going to make them decide, and also on a completely different system. Well, kind of, since it's coming out for that system, but it's also coming out on the next gen system, which most people will automatically end up dumping by the time the PS4 and the Xbox One comes out. To make room for their new uh, consoles that are not backwards compatible. Sony's PlayStation 4, I understand why they're not backwards compatible, but Xbox One, I think they did that because, of the whole DRM shit thing, and they wanted to make sure that you understood that, before they killed the DRM policy, but, they wanted to make sure that they locked it down and you couldn't play newer games with on the past consoles on their new consoles. They wanted you to buy it the way they wanted you to buy it. And of course, it didn't work. They dumped the DRM and they left their Xbox One's, you know, backwards compatibility out. Of course, it doesn't help that Drive Club got delayed until the beginning of next year, which is not that good. But you know what? Both Xbox One, I mean, both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. PlayStation 4 is still doing better than Xbox One for a lot of reasons. First of all, the restrictions on their paywall is not as strict as, Xbox One's, even though the Xbox fanboys are still getting out there and saying, well, you're going to automatically buy Xbox Live anyway, so it don't really matter. But as far as I'm concerned, this launch library, it's weak, and it's pretty disappointing. I think it would have been better if we had this launch library maybe last year because, got The Last of Us and all these other games, and the launch library would have been a hell of a lot more better and more stronger if it came out earlier. And instead, it's coming out by the end of this year, and I still think the PS4 has a stronger launch library than the Xbox One. I mean, mostly both consoles are coming out with cross-platform games. Games that are coming out for both systems, or both systems and PC, or even both systems, PC, and the Wii U. So yay. Of course, all the Wii U versions are getting cut down, and their prices are getting slashed in half by the retailer companies, who are telling these developers, you give us a half-ass game, we're going to only give you half-ass the price. And this is coming from the, Amazons, Walmart, and all of them, who are sick and tired of getting these half-assed made games for like the Wii U, And then them saying, well, it's only last gen, because, last gen only represents when a certain technology comes out on a certain year. But we're going to go with all these other people and say that generations is marked by their actual technical achievements, even though that's not really a generation at all. I mean, not technical achievement, but, how much power they can pump out. That's what a generation is now. You know, basically putting the new iPhone 5S, I believe. Basically, it's not last gen. It's like 2 gens ago, according to these people. But no, 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 no. That's a current gen because that's what they want to believe. And going with the old Joe Quesada quote here from Marvel Comics when, asked about the whole one more day thing, it's magic. We don't have to explain it. Or in translation, fuck off and I don't want to tell you shit. Because I just want it this way, and if you don't like it, kiss my fucking ass. Even though it goes against, logic and actual logic. So it's nice to see these retailing companies get up and just fight back, saying, you want me to pay full price for a half-assed and half-made video game that you made for a console because you want to go up there and believe these console makers on a generation that you've made up in your mind, even though the definition of generation just means that this hardware came out in this generation. Not, oh, it's got this kind of power, so it's got to be last gen, and this has got this kind of power, it's got to be current gen because we say so, and if you don't like it, well, we're going to bend the laws of reality and watch the universe just implode on itself because that's the way we work now. Of course, the only other people who decided to, rewrite histories was, those groups of people called the Nazis, and it didn't work out too well for them. And of course, they also tried to rewrite definitions to better fit their own needs, and it didn't work out too well for them neither. But yeah, this whole generation thing or next gen is only there as a label for when a piece of technology comes out in a certain generation, not how much power it can pump out of it and calling it a current gen because it's got a certain type of power to it. So yeah, the Wii U is a current gen because it came out in this generation, within this generation of consoles, not because of how much power it can pop out. There is no fucking evidence of that. But yet these morons are still just coming out with all this crap and not understanding how definition, dictionary definitions work, or instead just going into an actual dictionary, scribbling out the words and then rewriting it, just like how the Nazis did it. And as for the PS4's library getting lower and lower and lower with, Watchdog, which also affects Xbox One, and now Drive Club and the Crew, which nobody gave a shit about. First of all, how can the launch library already be weak when it's already weak? Like I said, most of the games are cross-platformed and all this other crap, and yeah, I'm kind of repeating myself, but yeah, it was already weak to begin with, especially on the Xbox One side. Yeah, they got a lot of games on there, but nobody really cared about them. Couple of reasons why. Xbox One still costs $100 more, unless you're in Brazil, but it still costs $100 more than the PS4, and unless you're in Brazil, and of course, all they got is Titanfall, which is also on the 360 and the PC, and will eventually be ported to PS4 at some point. Same goes for Dead Rising 3. It will be eventually ported to PlayStation 4. And Forza 5 is a fucking mess. And I don't know about the previous Forza games and all these people saying like, well, with the past Forza games, this game's going to be even more better with the better graphics. Yeah, until you realize that it's only half the fucking game, and to get the other half, you have to download it. And if you don't have the internet connection to, play Forza, you ain't going to complete the game ever. And but then again, if you don't have internet connection whatsoever, you ain't going to be able to start up your Xbox One because that DRM shit is still going to remain there, and you have to download a huge update patch just to play it. And for all those people, and the only way to download that patch is off the internet. And if you're in an area where your internet is slow, or you've got dial up, you're fucked. You're completely fucked with Xbox One. You have a brick in your house that you just paid $100 more than the PS4, and it's useless. Xbox One may have more exclusives, but it also has more of the train wrecks with it as well. Of course, EA sucking the Microsoft cock like nobody before. I mean, seriously, I haven't seen EA suck up to Microsoft this badly, or even to a console that is not going to make it very big. I mean, they're putting like all their PopCat games and the new Bejeweled game or Pangle, whatever the fuck that game is. Peggle. I don't hate the game. It's just I can't remember the name. It's a bizarre name, but yeah, they're putting that game on there, and their independent games on there first, and not even caring about putting it on the PS4 or even the Wii U. So, and of course, half of the staff over at EA is saying we use last gen because the changing of the dictionary word, or just sitting there and rewriting the dictionary to their more preferences, and just saying outright bluntously idiotic bullshit things, and of course untrue, and then making a whole bunch of people believe it. And of course, with mob rules, the mob rules is always going to be right, even though it doesn't make any sense or is just impossible. So yeah, the library's weak, and I don't see this hurting the PS4 over the Xbox One at all. Um, that's all I have to say for now. But I still think the PS4 is still going to end up becoming the top dog on all of this in the end. But yeah, that's it.